Hey everybody, Lawrence Michael, Operations Manager for Air Quality Remediation, making our update video. I told you guys who watched the video last night that we would make an update video. Normally we do a first day walkthrough and then a final day walkthrough of the project, but doing our initial walkthrough video yesterday, you guys saw the containment, you saw the negative air pressure, the decon chamber, but we hadn't had a chance to pull all the ceiling tiles down yet, so you didn't really get a chance to see what was going on above the ceiling, which is where all the mold growth is. So you guys already saw our containment, our caution tape, warning signage inside our decontamination chamber. We'll close our outside zipper. We have our air scrubber set up inside the decon chamber, which is where we're at now. Our air scrubber set up. We have our antimicrobial solution, all of our suits. So the technicians grab a suit, they come into the decontamination chamber, put on their suit, their full face respirator, their nitrile gloves, all the required PP for mold remediation. They go inside the containment, do their work, their actual mold remediation. When they come out for any reason, whether that's lunch or at the end of the day, they come into the decontamination chamber that is under negative air pressure because of our air scrubber. They take off their Tyvek suit, they vacuum themselves off, wipe themselves off with an antimicrobial solution, wipe off their full face respirator, then they take off their nitrile gloves. Nitrile gloves and their suit get put into a trash bag and sealed up. Then they can take off their respirator, put it inside a sealed bag, and then they can actually walk outside the decontamination chamber. So it is a whole process every time they come in and out of the containment area. Close up our decon chamber. So it looks a little different this evening. We have our poly set up on every wall. That's our decontamination chamber that you guys saw yesterday. We have poly up on every wall. Here's our stack of ceiling tiles that were removed. Our negative air machine being ducted outside, as you saw last night. So every wall is covered in poly. The floor is completely covered in poly, and everything's sealed. And we removed all the ceiling tiles from this office and the office next to us because there is no firewall that separates this office from the next office. So our containment is over both of those areas. So as we look up, now that all the ceiling tiles are removed, we can see how bad the mold growth is all throughout. All this you're looking at is mold growth. All the way through. And like I said, that's why I wanted to make a video today after all the ceiling tiles were removed and all the poly was put up so you guys could actually see what was going on. We only had a couple ceiling tiles removed last night, so I knew doing the video at least to show you what was going on. Like I said, we always do our first day walkthrough, so at least then you could see what was going on, but I knew it wouldn't do it really justice without seeing all the ceiling tiles removed. So now we enter into the decon chamber. We zip up the zipper. The air scrubber takes any spores or particles that are in this area out of this area before we unzip. Seal up the decontamination chamber, and then we can go into the next one. Again, like I said, because there is no firewall that separates these two office areas, both of which are contaminated, and we have to create a containment and establish negative air pressure in both. So now that we're inside this decontamination chamber, we'll enter inside the actual containment for this office, and we'll seal up our decontamination chamber. So in here, same thing. All the walls, all the floor have been covered in poly as part of the containment effort. Our decontamination chamber that was set up last night. All the walls, all the floors been covered in poly and sealed off. All the drop ceiling tiles have been removed. So then we can get a look at the mold growth in here, which again is really substantial. Again, all this is mold growth here. Yep. Quite significant. Over on this side, it's not as bad. I see a little bit over here. If the camera will focus on my light. Yeah, there's a little bit there. Definitely a little bit here. But the majority is all over here. So, again, I just wanted to give you guys a look at what was going on for the second night. This is the end of our second night here on site. Everything is the containment set up, negative air pressure established, decontamination chamber set up, poly covered all the walls and the floor, drop ceiling tiles have been removed. So now at this point, we'll get here tomorrow evening. We'll set up, we'll go through our job safety analysis, our toolbox safety talk, our emergency procedure form, all of this facility's required safety paperwork and procedures and policies, and then we'll begin our actual mold remediation. So the first 2 days of this project has really just been set up, building the containment, establishing that negative air pressure, building the decon chamber, setting up our temporary protection over everything. All this is in an effort to eliminate cross-contamination, to keep everybody in the facility safe while we're doing this work. The facility isn't shut down. There are still people inside every day, and we have to keep those occupants safe while we're working so that there's no potential hazards that they could come across while they're doing their day-to-day work. So tomorrow we'll start the actual mold remediation. So I won't really be able to show you too much of that until the job is actually complete. So we will see you again at the end of the week, and I'll do a walkthrough of the completed project. So as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good night.